Hello and welcome to this tutorial on how to actually use GitHub. So, for the theory part you will listen to it in class. For now I'm going to show you practically how to go through step by step actually using GitHub. So over here when you go hop into github.com, the first thing you'll see is this screen. And now we want to sign up for GitHub. So go ahead and place in your username. I'm just going to enter something, for example, fake example, and we created an email address for this tutorial, but for you, make sure you enter your real email address because you're going to have to confirm it later. Okay, so then go ahead and create a password and then click sign up. You're welcome to save it or not save it. And then you wait for the internet to load. And then you verify yourself that you're a human. Okay. So now that it knows that you're a human, you're welcome to continue with the next step. Okay, so we're gonna go for the one that is completely free. So you just click continue, and then put in some of your details. I'm gonna be totally new to programming. What am I using GitHub for? School projects. Which is the closest to how you would describe yourself. Others. What are you interested in? Making use. Oh. Use GitHub. That's what I'm interested in. Awesome. Next. Okay, cool. So of course you could have put in more things that you're interested in, so that GitHub actually pushes more of the interesting content towards you in terms of what you like to code and so on. Okay, cool. So now let's start a project. Okay, so of course he'll tell you please verify your email address, and this is where we go into our email, and we come to GitHub's email and we click verify email address. Okay, then we sorted, we have verified. Now we can start a project. Okay, fake example, cool. So now the first thing you're going to do is your repository name can be anything, but hopefully you have a bit of creativity in this sort of sense, as well as structure, that you make it the same thing as your homework assignment. The same thing as your homework assignments, so that you can reference them later on. Okay, so we're gonna stick to public, because if we click private, I think it might require a payment. Okay, we can do either private or public, looks like it. Okay. And then now that you have created your first project, it actually gives you instructions that you can go ahead and do in order to set it up for the first time. Okay, for now, get some files onto this repository. But before we get there, we have to first create a folder on somewhere on your computer. I just created on desktop, so you can see that it's on my users, Alex desktop, fake example folder. Yes, my name is totally Alex. Okay, so what I want you to do once you've created that folder is to come to this address bar and then type in cmd for command. Once you've clicked enter, you would see this particular screen pop up, and you would see that the folder correlates exactly with what we just had. Okay, that means that we are working inside this folder in the command line. So for those that are new with command line, get used to it, because we're going to use it a bit. Okay, cool. So in order to work with this, the first thing we have to do is we have to go here and collect our Git URL. So I'm going to copy that, and then inside the command line I'm going to type in git clone, and then I'm going to paste the name, the URL. Okay, cool. So it tells us you appear to have cloned the empty repository. That is fine. That's exactly what we wanted. Now we're going to go back and we're going to see that inside a folder we have one folder that correlates with our repository name. Okay, so we're going to go inside it, and you would see, if you have your hidden folder view on, you would see that there is a folder called .git, and inside there has all the configurations set up for it that you don't need to know. You just need to know that it is there, so that you know, okay, this thing has been created successfully. Okay, cool. So now we can create our first file inside here, and you can either do it inside the Windows view, or you can do it in the command line view, which I'll show you both ways. Inside the Windows view, you click right click and you say new, and you go to your text document or whatever, and then you type in the name of your file. In this case, we're going to make it index.html. Okay, so if you wanted to create it inside the command line, all you have to do is type in this index.html. Okay, it will tell you that it's not recognized, give you error, but the file was meant to be created. Come on. Oh, you know why it's not created? It's because it's here. Okay. So now with command line, you would quickly learn that when you're working in different directories, it does different things. So what we need to do is we need to first go ahead and cd into assignment 1. That means we're going to move into that folder. Okay, and then now when we do index.html, it would create the file in the right place. Okay, cool. So now we're going to go ahead and we're going to say right click, and for the purposes of this video, we're going to open it up with Notepad++. Okay, so over here we're going to say hello world for the purpose of the video. We're going to save it, we're going to close it, and then here we will see that the size of this file increased to 1 KB. Okay, so that means that there is changes made to this. Okay, cool. So now I'm also going to go ahead and I'm going to add another file called site.js. Okay, and then another one called site.css. Okay, so for now I'm not going to touch these files. The purpose of this is just to show you how to work with Git. Okay, so now we want to actually be able to push these files to our repository, and in order to do that we have to learn a few commands, and the first one is git add. So this adds the file into the staging phase. So if we say git add index.html, this adds that particular file into the staging phase. So if we type in git status, it will show us what has been committed, what has been changed, and what is not tracked. Okay, so over here it shows us that it is busy tracking one file. So this is in the staging phase, as we just made the command for it. Now this one shows us that these two files are not tracked because we have not added them. But say now we have a list of 200 files. We don't want to go ahead and type in git add for every single one of those. So what we can do is we can say git add full stop, which will add everything inside this particular folder. Okay, cool. So if we type in git status now, it will show you that all 3 of the files is tracked. Okay, so once you have tracked them, what you want to do is you want to say git commit -m for message, and then provide your message, and you can, and for here I'm going to say initial commit. Okay, so what this does, it will add the files into the commit stage, so that would be your local repository before we push it onto the server. Okay, so now we'll tell you, okay, we have committed these files, and there they are. Okay, and it will show you the total amount of lines that have been edited. In this case, it was just 1. Okay, cool. So now we want to go ahead and we want to push to our commit. We have to go ahead and push these files to the repository. So by doing so, we just type in git push. And now it would ask us to log into GitHub, and our email was gmail.com, and our password is that. And then now you would see that it is busy pushing, everything is done and pushed into master. Okay, and then now once you do a git pull, which pulls everything from the repository into your local database, it would say everything is up to date, no changes. Cool. So if we go ahead and we go into our repository online, you'd see now there is 3 files that was pushed 4 minutes ago. And if you enter into the commits, you'd see you're being able to view this particular commit on exactly what was going on. So you can see that there is 2 new files at the bottom and 1 file at index.html. And inside this 1 file, there was 1 line that was added. That's why it's highlighted in green. Okay, so if it was removed, it would be highlighted in red. Okay, cool. So the nice thing about GitHub also is that you can view the insights. So for each person later on, you're being able to see how many lines each person is pushing to the repository. This can almost some way, in some sort of a sense, tell you how much each person is contributing to the project. Of course, there is variations and exceptions to difficulty of code and so on, which causes more time to build less code. So there is variations, but at the end of the day, it still does show you how much lines each person is pushing. So now that we have finally created our first repository and everything is on GitHub, as you can see it, we want to go ahead and look at something called gitignore. So let's say we have a particular folder that is just the debug files, and this isn't generated by you. Output.log. So let's say it's a log file that just catches every single error and then places it into this file. And this isn't something that you want to share with everyone on your project because there is no need to. Or let's say you have something called the node packages. In order to do that, we have to work with gitignore debug folder. All we have to do is go into the command line again, and now we have to create a particular file called .gitignore. So we're going to type in dot greater than sign dot gitignore. Okay, so again, it would have created, come on, this particular file. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and open it up, and we're gonna add in our debug / to represent folders. We're gonna save that, we're gonna close that, and now if we say git status, it would have the gitignore folder file, but not the debug folder. Okay, so this one we do need to add. Git add. Okay, and git commit added our gitignore folder file. Oops. file change and one insertion, but not the debug folder. So now we can go ahead and we can push it to our repository. Okay, so now that it's on the repository, we will see if we refresh this that there is gitignore there, but again, the debug folder is not there. So if we want to go ahead and create a folder that says CSS, or let's say make it fonts, and we go ahead and say git status, it would not show us anything. And let's make a new font package. New font. What is the font extensions? TTF, I think. Okay, cool. So now if we say git status, it would show us that the font folder is not tracked, and inside the font folder there is also something that's not tracked. So the difference that you see here is that it picks up the font folder, but it does not pick up the debug folder because it's inside the gitignore. Cool, so I'm going to wrap this video up and hope you enjoy the homework.